Welcome to today's explainer. Take a second and really think about human resources. For the longest time, just hearing the letters HR probably conjured up images of endless paperwork, filing cabinets, and, let's be honest, administrative bureaucracy. It was always seen as this necessary, functional part of a business, but rarely the actual driving force behind it. Well, you know what? That reality is completely shifting. Today, we are witnessing the dramatic transition of HR from a paperwork-heavy necessity into a totally tech-enabled strategic powerhouse. We're going to explore exactly how this transformation is happening, unpacking the data and the cutting-edge strategies that are driving this evolution. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll track the evolution of HR, define its core functions, and then unpack some modern workforce challenges through a really fascinating 2,000-employee case study. After that, we'll explore the AI innovations and tech-driven solutions solving those issues before finally applying a framework for change. Section 1. The evolution of HR. To truly appreciate the modernization of HR, we really need to ground ourselves in its foundational role. Human resources is the absolutely critical function that serves as the bridge between people and strategy. See, it's not just about hiring and firing anymore. It's about actively aligning your workforce's capabilities with your overarching business goals. Think of HR as the engine that manages the full employee lifecycle. That means everything from the moment you recruit someone, through their onboarding, their daily performance management, continuous learning, all the way to their offboarding. It ensures a productive, compliant, and inclusive workplace every single step of the way. But here is where the massive shift actually happens. Historically, traditional HR kind of acted like an anchor. It was a purely transactional function, processing payroll, approving leave, updating files. But modern HR, it's a rocket ship. It has evolved into a strategic enabler of growth and transformation. Across literally all industries, the most successful organizations are abandoning that purely transactional model. Instead, they're leveraging digital tools, deep analytics, and artificial intelligence to not only enhance the employee experience, but to optimize workforce planning and foster a culture of total agility. It's no longer about just maintaining the status quo, right? It's about strategically driving the business forward. Section 2. Core HR functions. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it visualizes this complex ecosystem. Hiring and onboarding brings people in the door. Then employee and organizational development ensures those people actually grow alongside the company. Compensation, benefits, and employee relations, they keep the workforce engaged and satisfied, while performance management ensures everyone is tracking toward those strategic goals we mentioned earlier. Every single one of these functional areas represents a massive, complex operation that literally has to run flawlessly. So we can distill that whole ecosystem down into these core operational pillars: talent acquisition, talent development, total rewards, performance management, organization and culture, and personnel and business partnering. Now, here's a crucial takeaway for you. While these principles are completely universal across the corporate world, the way they're executed differs wildly. Execution shifts depending on how labor-intensive your industry is, the specific regulatory environments you operate in, and your workforce models. For instance, managing these pillars for a shift-based blue-collar workforce is going to look entirely different than doing it for a project-based white-collar workforce. But the foundational pillars themselves, they remain totally constant. Section 3. Modern workforce challenges. Maintaining those pillars isn't exactly easy when you scale up. Let's anchor these theoretical challenges to a very real-world scenario. Imagine a mid-sized professional services firm. They have 2,000 employees, and these employees aren't just sitting in one building. They're spread out across 7 different countries. Just picture the sheer volume of daily interactions, requests, and data points generated by 2,000 people globally. It's massive. Now, let's look at the friction this firm is experiencing. They have a disconnected and reactive HR service model, and honestly, it's causing chaos. Listen to the complaints right from the employees themselves. They're facing severely delayed responses to basic HR queries. Things like just checking leave policies, payroll cutoff dates, or insurance coverage. They are incredibly frustrated, navigating a maze of confusing portals just to request a single day off or view a payslip. I mean, we've all been trapped in one of those portal mazes at some point, right? Even new hires are suffering, dealing with a poor onboarding experience because documentation is completely scattered and processes are unclear. And the HR team, they're completely buried under a mountain of repetitive inquiries and manual admin tasks. Because they're stuck doing paperwork, they have absolutely zero time for the strategic initiatives, like talent development or culture building, that modern HR is supposed to be focusing on. Stepping back for a second, this firm's struggles highlight the systemic industry risks organizations face when their HR processes remain manual and disconnected. It goes way beyond just employee annoyance.
When systems are fragmented, you face massive compliance and regulatory risks due to constant changes in labor laws and data privacy. You suffer from a total lack of workforce visibility, meaning no real-time view of headcount, attrition, or skill gaps. And you end up with outdated learning and development programs because there's no personalized pathway for growth. Without fixing the foundation, the entire structure is at risk.
Section 4. Tech-driven HR solutions. So, this is the critical question posed directly from the leadership of our case study firm. They know they need to improve employee satisfaction and reduce the HR load, but here's the catch. They need to modernize the employee experience without simply throwing money at the problem and expanding HR headcount. They need a smarter way, not just a bigger team. Let's look at the technological answers. And this brilliantly illustrates our approach. Technology, specifically AI and automation, acts as the sword to slay this administrative drag. By deploying the right digital tools, we can cut straight through the fragmented systems and manual paperwork that are holding that HR team back. Let's break down these innovations. To fix the firm's friction, we deploy AI and automation. First up, AI-powered recruitment automates CV screening and uses intelligent algorithms to match candidates to roles based on skills and culture fit. Next, we implement end-to-end process digitization. Remember those employees complaining about multiple portals? We solve that by integrating all HR operations into a unified platform. Think systems like SuccessFactors or Workday. We also bring in real-time workforce analytics to give leadership predictive insights into attrition and engagement. We launched digital learning platforms that use AI to recommend personalized upskilling content. And finally, compliance automation ensures policies and employee documents are always version controlled and audit ready, sending out automated reminders for legal updates. It's a total game changer. But, the most immediate impact for those 2,000 frustrated employees comes from upgrading their daily experience. We transition to centralized self-service portals. Everything is finally in one place. And crucially, we introduce AI chatbots. This directly solves the problem of delayed responses to basic queries. Instead of an HR rep manually answering an email about the payroll cutoff date, the AI chatbot handles it instantly. The chatbot manages the high-volume, low-complexity questions and only escalates the complex exceptions to the human HR team. This frees up the human team to finally focus on strategy, completely answering leadership's mandate to improve the experience without hiring more administrative staff. Section 5. Applying the framework. Understanding the tech is great, but we really need a practical methodology to put it into action. Let's move to and see how this builds into a 3-step framework you can apply universally to tackle these transformations. Step 1 is problem analysis. You have to identify and prioritize the key pain points, just like we did with the scattered onboarding docs and delayed responses, and dig into the root causes. Ask yourself, what happens if the company doesn't act? Step 2 is converting those pain points into requirements. Based on your analysis, clearly define the business and technical needs. What kind of data insights do you actually need? How should the technology stack evolve to provide visibility? And finally, step 3 is solution recommendation. This is where you propose specific data-driven or automation-based solutions, like the unified platforms and AI chatbots we just discussed, to strategically resolve that HR friction. Which brings us to the end of our explainer. We've seen exactly how HR is transforming from a transactional, paperwork-heavy department into a highly strategic, tech-enabled powerhouse. By identifying systemic friction and applying smart, AI-driven automation, companies can dramatically improve the employee experience while freeing up their teams to actually build culture and strategy. So I'll leave you with this provocative thought. Take a look at your own daily workflows. How could data-driven tools and AI transform your own workplace experience today? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring how technology can elevate the way we work.